Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the delay in getting this one underway. We had some delays and things on the back end of things. The important part is that we are now underway, and I can tell you we've just had an accident. Brock Kelly's just gone hard into the barriers because it is wet at Circuit de 24 Hours de Mans in Le Mans in the Pays de Loire region of France. Of course, Scotty Rankin, Dan Yeaman, and Pete Baxter on the coverage here tonight, and Dan will be bringing us pictures as quickly as he possibly can get them to us, and the reason for that is because he has just jumped in from another broadcast. But in the meantime, Pete, all that we need to know is that it's wet in the south of France, and it is challenging drivers.
Yeah, absolutely, Scotty. It's a lovely wet track to start with. Unlike the race last week, we come into a race one, lap one, wet track straight away. For those viewers, we're just going live onto this lap 2, we're straight into, so we haven't missed much, only a couple of little minor things pretty much along the way. We'll get the leaderboard up very shortly, but young Sebastian Scandari is leading, Scotty.
Yeah, that's the big thing at the moment. Like we said, we're still going to be trying to aggravate things, but everyone has started on wets. It's going to be a tricky session here tonight, and the reason it's going to be tricky is because the conditions are going to change all night long. It's not heavy rain. It's not consistent rain. At the moment, it's heavy in parts, but the thing you'll notice on that shot right there is that it's not currently raining in this area of the racetrack. It is absolutely pelting down at the Mulsanne corner, but on the Mulsanne straight, it's actually relatively okay. Now you can see the drop start as we get down here to the Mulsanne corner, and the field are just squabbling amongst themselves. We've lost a little bit from the race time in terms of the gridding formation and everything that's going on there due to delays. But the rain is heavy at the moment in this section of the racetrack, about 28%, 24%, that is. Byron Phillips around and hard into the barriers in his Aston Martin Vantage. And he will be missing a rear left tyre at the moment. I can tell you, the rain has just dropped our way completely as they get down through Indy. So it is now 0% chance rainfall, or it's supposed to be rain intensity falling from the skies at the moment. It's going to continue to rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall. But the track should start to dry up fractionally from here. And then it'll get wetter, and then it'll get drier, and that's going to be what they're doing all night long, Pete. That it presents a huge challenge for the drivers, because at the moment it's definitely wet.
Oh my God, boys, what's just happened is Byron Phillips has turned the car around to get going, was running along at slow speed, what would have been white flags, but a couple of cars in the wet mist have basically at full pace just run into the back of him. So,
oh, look at these cars off.
Crash.
Tyson Broad's just been elbowed off and he's been hit in the rear end. I think we might be getting a call for a safety car at the moment because of that incident. Yes, safety car has been deployed. The rain has stopped. Tyson Broad's going to have a meatball flag, but he may have the opportunity to get his car back to pit lane. It is crawling at the moment. There was another tyre potentially in the rear end ripped off for that one. But the grip and the conditions changed massively. Look at it, there's a bunch of guys just diving into pit lane too. Did you see that?
Absolutely, Scotty. It's a good chance to get in there and top up the fuel. We're all a bit over the place with how much time it's going to be exactly left, but I still think it's going to be a three-stopper. Maybe a two-stopper, actually, with the rain slowing the cars down a bit. But what the safety car will do, the safety car is just going to give all those people a chance to come in. Maybe use their fast repair, get their cars go back out, and then not lose too much. But they're going to obviously lose a lot of track position. But, Scotty, I think... yeah, we get another restart, which is a good thing for the viewers, because we missed the original one. But yeah, what a big crash.
Yeah, so we'll give you a little bit of an update of the difficulties that we're facing here tonight. Unfortunately, Jay Kennedy has had a massive power outage right before we were supposed to go live. Dan Yeaman's jumped on board to be our backup broadcaster, but Dan was busy at the time we actually went live, so we had to sort of delay things. We didn't really have an opportunity. We had no broadcaster available to us. There wasn't anything further we actually could have done to get live, so we are live now. That's all that matters. And we've missed just about next to no racing in the meantime. What we have missed was the qualifying session, which really set the grid for how we're going to start this race. Zach Rattray-White will lead from Sebastian Eskandari at the moment. And the safety car is out and on the track. It's in the first chicane, but it's missed the leaders. So we will pick it up, but they will have to go around another time. So everyone effectively will be holding positions. They'll be trying to generate some tyre temperature at the moment because they're about to lose a whole bunch of it. Have a look at how wet it is on the Mulsanne Straight. That, like we said, the rain has backed off. We're in a hole in terms of the rain at the moment. We're just about to pick up the front edge of another big shower of rain, and this one will be yellow intensity, which is about as hard as it possibly can be without a red flag being displayed. So we're about to hit the worst of the conditions. It might be time for a couple of extra tyres, but those puddles have built up really quickly there tonight, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely. And the puddles on the side of this track, they all seem to be right in the middle of the apexes where you need to be to make best speed. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this class of drivers, Scotty, because you and I talked about the reason why these guys didn't have the crashes in the first lap that we did. These guys are just a bit better at iRacing than we are, but they're still going to have to navigate with the puddles that are in the places where you normally put the car to go fast. The other thing on this track is that on the big long straights, you get build-up of water down the left and right-hand side. So going 2 or 3 wide down the straight, you're really risking the car putting into a potential position of aquaplaning at really, really high speed. So the couple of things to think about, lots of cars, when it's not raining, track will dry up pretty quick. As you just mentioned, there's another big patch of rain coming across the whole track. Yeah,
it's 52% intensity, which is the heaviest we've seen so far in this session. So it is hit, and it is hit in a massive way. Look at the storms. It's basically they hit quickly, they hit heavily, and they leave just as quickly. So that's what we're going to be expecting all night long. You can just see we're just hitting that heavy intensity in terms of the rain. We're above 50% rain intensity for now. And again, we will get an opportunity to cleanse the field and hold the field up here in just a few moments because the safety car's just pulled onto the Mulsanne straight. We're still waiting for our race leader to catch up to that one. Another opportunity for anyone who wants to get into pit lane and get a fresh set of tyres on, but I think it'll be keep warm wets on whilst you possibly can. Temperature in these tyres will be extremely difficult to come by in what we're about to run into, and visibility is going to be even worse.
Alrighty, and the leaders, Scotty. Leaders are in the pit lane.
This will be an opportunity to clear a nice early stop, particularly whilst the field is spread out as well, is why I think they're potentially looking at this. You'll see a couple of guys. Everyone's into the pit lane. So this will clear potentially one of those 3 stops you might have to serve, potentially one of the splash and dashes. At the moment, Rattray White from Sebastian Eskandari, Damon Woods, Lachlan Capel, Stuart Ellis, Byron Pearce, Kane Ryder, Jet Saragi, Andrew Scordillas, Daniel Crowan. And Kurt Chapman from the limited field is actually going to forego a pit stop to lead some laps of this race. That's a little bit risky, but hey, like we said, that is temperature in those tyres he's looking to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been 2 laps effectively, Scotty. So we're getting about 8 laps or 9 laps in the rain. So maybe it's worthwhile to get out there and get a little bit of clear air. Just keep an eye on Connor Nixon. He was the lead car that pitted as they come in to see where he comes out. And we'll see whether the cars that were in the front have lost out from track position.
There he is in P7. He'll cycle back through. And a good opportunity for a bunch of different people to grab a free pit stop. Byron Phillips is going to get back onto the lead lap. Effectively, still running on the toe for Brock Kelly. He's about the only one we have left to complete a toe. And then we are waiting on the field to be picked up by the safety car. The problem will be with this one as well as visibility, where the Aston Martin safety car is. I hope that thing has got wets on. It's moving at least reasonably quickly. It said to me it does have the wet tyres. Look at him. He's even after a little bit of tyre temperature. At least he was a few moments ago as well.
I'm not there and asking whether the safety car's got wets on, Scotty, because you know what happens when I say something.
Righto, so we will neutralise the field, and again, Kurt Chapman's going to go chasing just a little bit of tyre temperature on his way to the safety car. It wasn't a quick drive to the safety car from there. A big thing is, whilst that shot, there is some tricks of the trade in terms of iRacing and camera views and bits and pieces. So if you see at points in time, right now the previous shot showed it was raining quite heavily. It is raining quite heavily. That's what you need to know. The current shot we're looking at is not showing any rain. That is a feature, a bug, whatever you wish to term it, of the camera system and the way focal distances are designed into the camera system. It just does not quite work with this at the moment. So I can tell you it is raining quite heavily. Heaviest rain intensity we've seen thus far.
Yeah, Scotty, by the looks of the weather, we're about to get just heavy intensity across the whole track.
Yeah.
Effectively by about the time that this race gets started again. So it'll be normalise then, but maybe we've got a little bit of a chance here to do a quick run through the championship standings as we are, given that we've got about, I reckon, 3 minutes before we get back to race start. So we'll get that graphic up, but race control keep talking away. They're obviously managing all the drivers. I'm just saying, Scotty, whether I think a couple of cars might have actually lost a lap through this process because the safety car wasn't picked up. The toes weren't done in time, and
I think it's just Brock Kelly.
Just Brock Kelly, actually. Yeah, no, most systems catching up now. The others are caught up. So
the other one was Lockhart Brownlee, but unfortunately, it does look like he has actually elected not to take the starts. There might be issues on board car 521. either way, has not gotten out there. Right, Damon Woods has been the man of the front of the field to date, and he's generally been the driver to try and beat in terms of GT3 hardware over the recent past. He will get it done from Zach Rattray, White, Byron Pearson, Marino Barella. Isaac Curtis is the first of the non-Eclipse / Motorsport Simworld drivers. They're in 5th spot. Alan Dawson's doing a phenomenal job for Sim Racing. Says to me that there's been a bunch of drama over the last couple of rounds in this one. Ahead of Dean Mackay, Sam Sutton, Stuart Ellis, and Reese Wakefield, your top 10. And they've just said the safety car's going to try and pick up some speed and pick up some tyre temperature as well. I think they might increase it to 90 kph at the moment, but I reckon they might go a touch faster as well. So, but we'll be back and underway with a green flag restart here in just a few moments. The critical factor at the moment, of course, is that championship fight. It is 73 points after round number 3. Damon Woods is in the lead by, and it is nearly that again, 71 points. Sorry, my apologies, 69 points from Zach Rattray White back to Byron Pierce for P2. So those positions fairly well adjusted. 96 points the margin back to P4. And then from there, it actually gets quite tight all the way back to the end of the top 10. That's what we're managing at the moment. And
now, Scotty,
restart coming, Pete. And you were about to say drivers that didn't pit.
No, I was going to say, you just talked about the gap in the standings, but have a look how quickly it can change. Byron Phillips was running P3 in this race. So effectively, he was running P3 in the race. He had to turn around and spin. Now he's running last. That would change the championship order if that happens to one of those top 3 guys. And tonight's the night where anything can happen.
So, Porsche has the race lead in the hands of Kurt Chapman at the moment. That's a replay of the first initial incident for Byron Phillips that has put us under safety car. And backwards and hard into the barrier. Parks it up there, waits for the field to come through. Of course, that left free tyre is disconnected. Waits up for more traffic coming through. Look at the visibility and the lack of it on their way towards it. And then Brock Kelly's just completely unsighted.
Yep.
So, not much they could have done there. And have a look at how far it actually pushed Byron down the racetrack. Brock Kelly's already missing a rear wing before he gets there. So something else has happened to Brock Kelly on that opening lap. Regardless, wasn't captured. Rick Provenzali, after early retirement last weekend in the limited series, has already come to pit lane for damage repairs in this one as well.
Yeah, absolutely nothing the guys could do there. And yeah, I don't know. Should have Byron even got back on the racetrack? I mean, he's got a right, clear track to turn the car around. But yeah, anyway, that's where we are, Scotty. It's fast repairs and away we go again. Alrighty.
Here we go for a restart. Safety car is back in a pit lane. We are getting set for a restart. Kurt's holding them for the moment. And a reminder from race control to everybody in the field at this point in time, penalties will apply. Everyone is going to be on very, very cold wets. Rain intensity is absolutely massive at this point in time. It's going to be a swimming pool when we get through the Dunlop chicane up and over the crest. Have a look at the yellow rain intensity. We are getting blasted with water here. Well, if you want to shower in the south of France at the moment, the simulated south of France, all you have to do is walk outside. He's going to keep them at a crawl. All the way through here. Looks to go just before the final chicane. But it is just about trying to keep the thing on the island at the moment. And find a little bit of visibility on the run down to turn number 1. And I can tell you, it is diabolical in behind a lot of these guys in terms of visibility. Rubber has been laid down on the track. It will hopefully be washed away in the very, very near future. But for now, the rubber in line is going to be problematic. Zach Rattray White's gone around, a man of that talent. Connor Nixon's gone in deep, just barely misses taking out his teammate in Lachlan Capel. So it was nearly 2 for 1 for the Logitech G Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport stable. And I tell you, it's trouble. It's trouble up and through that first chicane. There is lots of cars skating their way through, and it is a swimming pool. But just before this corner, There is so many cars off the road at turn 1. Look at them all trying to recover. Have a look at the amount of debris that's just left on the road as everyone struggles to come to grips with cold tyres, cold track, and water everywhere, Pete.
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal to see somebody of Zach Ratway White's talent lose the car in the wet. Mate, that tells you how bloody spicy it is right now on that track. And I'll tell you what, there's absolutely no visibility unless you're in first place right now. So if you're in a car, you'll follow another one. There's still no visibility. There's Reece Wakefield's been turned around just on the entrance to the Macedon Straight. So another piece of danger there. Is everybody going to get around him safely?
Looks like most of them have got through. Wakefield's now just crawling back to speed on the outside. At the moment, it's that Max Boost Porsche that's made its way to the head of the field. I just saw Isaac Curtis cutting through one of the chicanes as well as he just tried to pull that car up, struggled, wobbled, went wide.
There's those puddles I was talking about, Scotty. See all the way right down the side of the track, it's just full on water. You actually got to get off the normal racing line because it just soaks in water to be able to drive along dry bitumen. It's just incredible the way the water sits on this track.
This was Stuart Ellis and Connor Nixon it wasn't, my apologies. It was Stuart Ellis and Ben Jeffrey who were leaning on each other on the entry to the second chicane. And I just had a message come through that conditions are easing, rain intensity is starting to go away again. So we'll hit another gap in the skies where the track will start to dry off. It is tricky conditions though, because the problem is it's going to ease off and then come back, ease off and then come back. So it's just going to stay with us all night long. We can get through the next 45 minutes or so. It might actually start to dry up at that point in time, but it is a long, long way away for where we are right now.
And Scotty Kirk Chapman's up the front there, battling with the big boys, having a good old time. He's doing well. He's handling P2 very well. He's just fought off Damon Woods along the straight there, come out of the corner. So good on him.
Damon's going to have a dive at him on the run down in Indianapolis down here. Gets to the inside. Now on entry, Damon will have the preferred line in the wets, and Kurt elects to drift in behind him. It'll swing across the left-hand side, and then you want to get high and above the slick section of the racetrack, and Damon skates it in too deep. He'll lose both of those spots. So everybody's making mistakes in these conditions, and now Kurt Chapman locks it up on the way to Anaj. Tries to pick up the throttle. He'll have Zach Rattray wide pushing him along in that one. There's a Mustang off into the barriers for Patrick Randon.
Oh, there are 4 cars off at the end of the... There are 4 cars off, Scotty. They're everywhere. Mustangs are everywhere at the moment.
I don't think they're Mustangs anymore. They're must-nots at the moment with how much they're crawling all over the racetrack. There's another car that just requested a tow. Matt Bailey, massive damage at the back end. What did we just miss in the background of that one? Adam Chepson hiding the barriers.
Well, there we go. Yeah, we can step. There he is. Oh, requesting a tow, Adam Jepson. So he's had a big crash. He's stuck.
Well, with where Jepson is, they'll probably just let him go. But there'll be no safety car. There's another issue for Marcus Watson, who's had difficulties entering the Porsche curves. Harry Dodds has now had issues in the wet. Marino Morella's around in the Porsche curves. There are 2 Aston Martins that had a kiss in the middle of the Porsche curves in the wet. They're going everywhere, Pete. All of a sudden, Limited last weekend's looking like we had dream conditions for racing.
Well, yeah, be careful if you want to open that box
Dean
about
Mackay's
Limited.
round and destroyed on the rear end of his car. Tyson Broad's in the barriers again. I think Tyson Broad will be done.
Oh, Kurt Chapman's just had another off at the second corner, mate, and he's only just missed some cars, so he's regathering it now. I think everybody's really struggling here.
Yeah, it is heavy wet out there.
Yeah.
Dean Mackay makes it back to pit lane. Corey Bennett's on the move at the moment in car 33, struggling, crawling around the racetrack. Ben Jeffrey has only got drive to one of those 2 wheels at the moment, and the issue for car 150 is it is beached in the sand trap. Oh, no, he's found drive somehow.
He's found a couple more partners. All right, Scotty, there's going to be a lot for race control to work out. Now, somebody said to me the other day, and I'm not sure if it was you, not Scotty, or somebody else, but we're talking about driving in the rain. And the comment was, you don't race other people when it's wet, you race yourself on the track. Was that you, Scotty?
That was not me.
No?
Actually, that piece of advice might have come from Connor Nixon, I reckon, during Limited last weekend. But I remember hearing it, you're right, but it did not come from my mouth.
Yeah, so don't race the other cars, just race the track. And maybe we've got a situation here where, you're right, yeah, it was Connor, yeah, where Connor's advice is not being followed by Connor and others. And this is what we're seeing. So maybe, do you think, Scotty, maybe it's a case of, hey, settle down, boys. This has still got an hour to go. I don't think it's going to go the hour 30 that we're seeing on the clock. I think we've got about an hour and 2 minutes to go is my guess at the moment, given that that's based on server time.
Backwards! Car 680 of Sam Sutton is backwards on the way in there, and there might have been a little bit of contact we're hearing on the way in there that might have triggered that one.
Yeah, there's a big bit of contact. Yeah.
Zach Rattray White starting to close down on car 13. There was contact on lap 2 for Sebastian Eskandari. He's been just handed a 10-second time penalty. Have a look at the cars driving down the right-hand side of the road here, and yeah, Corey Bennett's just tried to put the anchors on, and the ABS kicked in and said, no, that won't work.
It said, this is a good speed, I want to go through it this corner.
Yeah. He's touched a puddle, he's touched a bit of rubber, and it's gone the other way.
Yeah.
So, for now, again, everyone's just trying to build tyre temperature, build temperature of everything, brake temperature, feeling of the track. Rain intensity has eased. It's about half the intensity it was earlier on. Whoa. So the good news is, once we start to look at it down at is that Mulsanne Corner? Mulsanne Corner is going to maintain the heavy intensity all the way through to Arnage, and then the rest of the track is going to be drying-ish. Will be lighter at the other end of the track. I'm actually just keeping an eye on rain intensity on the way through the Porsche curves with our race leader at this point in time, Sebastian Eskandari. That is Trent Stapleton now in the barriers. I think the better question is the number of drivers that aren't having issues at the moment, Pete.
Oh, mate, it's just, you're just coming up the corners and it's not one car having a spin, it's multiple cars having a spin. So people, they're pushing almost too hard, right? You're going well and true beyond the
There's a battle on for our race lead. They're actually going to go side by side through the chicane, and Eskandari just was on the wrong line. He was on the rub-it-in line, and that is not where the grip is in the wet. And was just forced to make way for Zach Rattray White. Now Rattray White's going to try and skip clear in the Aston Martin at the front. Car 94 will get back to pit lane. Toe Brennan was right near an access road, no longer needed. Have a look at this. The sun's out on the main straight at Le Mans. Who's that in the background? That's Lachlan Capel all of a sudden coming back to these guys at a massive rate of knots. Don't count him out just yet. They're all caught up in behind Sebastian Eskandari. Rattray White's gotten through, and everybody else is now going to try and chase him through. Oh, and Damon Woods picks up a little bit of the runoff out the other side. And car 8, Lachlan Capel, all of a sudden in P3.
Now that's going to be interesting because Damon Woods, he's the one that's really under pressure. You talked about the 71 points that he had in the championship lead. Zach Rattray White currently having the lead. And 4 positions, probably not enough to bring 71 points, Scotty. It's probably going to have to be a much bigger gap for Zach to jump in, but it's good. Good for the championship.
Yeah, certainly. He'll certainly have a stab. And I just had another word come through my ear from my crew chief app that is running in the background. It stopped raining. Now, at the top end of the Mulsanne Straight, it has indeed stopped raining. You get to Mulsanne Chicane 1, and the rain starts up again.
Still there, but when they come back around the Porsche curves again, this lap, it's going to be not raining, and then next lap it'll be raining.
It's just going to be tricky, isn't it? Well, it's that leading edge. Like, it's the start-finish straight. Basically, the exit of the Porsche curves through to Mole Sound chicane number 1 is not raining at the moment and will be drying. The rest of the track is going to maintain its current level of wetness, if not get worse.
But from a driver perspective, it will just be the whole race will be wet, because as soon as you've got all of this spray coming off the car in front of you, you're effectively going to need your wipers anyway. So raining or not raining, with this sort of amount of water on the track, the race is going to feel wet to the drivers the whole time.
Big thing about this this area and the racetrack as it is being built off of actual roads. Somebody's touched the puddle and gotten into the back end of the 144 machine of Scordelis, and Isaac Curtis it was that went around off his rear bumper, touched a puddle, touched something, and the ABS kicked in and tried to prevent the brakes from locking. But really, he needed the brakes to support him there. He kept it going. You know what? He's done well. He's done
Good thing
well.
for Isaac. No damage. So that's brilliant for Isaac. That's just lost about 5 seconds of time, but absolutely no damage. So he's stays in the hunt. That's good.
I can tell you I did that on the last lap of the race last weekend, Pete. 360, come over the crest at, you go through the Dunlop chicane, up and over the crest, left, right, just after you come over the right-hander, just before you head onto the Mulsanne straight, there's another right-hander there before you head into the Mulsanne. There's a crest of the hill. As I come over the crest, the rear end of the Corvette went around on me. 360, back into the power, and I just said to my spotter, no, you didn't see anything, nothing happened.
Okay. I wasn't going to bring up... Whoa, Dylan Shepherd's had another spin on the entry to Indianapolis there. That is unbelievable. That's just on the straight. He must have touched the curbs.
Yeah, he's touched the paint. That's what he's touched, is the paint. I guarantee if we go back and get a replay, somehow try and find... The thing is, in Mulsanne... Oh! Corey Bennett,
wow.
I did see somebody over in the YouTube chat that was saying he's doing a phenomenal job on board the Acura. I think it might have been Tyson Hanmer, actually. Was saying he's doing such a great job, and I'll blame Tyson for that one. That's he's definitely thrown it off a cliff at that point in time. The look at Corey Bennett, he's right at the access road right there. They will be able to drag that car behind the fence, and there will not be a requirement for a safety car. Now, the track starts to clean up and dry up, and now you start to build a little bit of tyre temperature.
So, Scotty, my car count for Indianapolis is about 5 cars at the moment. You reckon we'll get to double figures?
And there's confirmation it was just touching a little bit of paint either side of the racetrack.
Wow, that's how tricky it is. At that sort of speed, just a little bit of paint and it spun the car around. Wow.
The same thing for Corey Bennett. He touches paint and the brakes just don't work at that point.
Bang. Bang. Ouch. Whoa. Alrighty. Now, I wasn't going to bring up too much limited, Scotty, because I don't know if you realise, this is the first time you and I have actually commentated together since Bathurst.
Mix of unavailabilities for the pair of us.
Yes,
across that
that's
duration.
right.
Ethan Bass is also in a Mustang issue at Arnage, not at Indianapolis. And Byron Phillips has got one working tyre. No, the rear end of the car 46 is off at the moment. So, whoa, and the front, is that the front right off that car? Is it listing to the right?
That's the whole right off that car, yeah. No, I think that's the back. Oh, we have a look at the side. Maybe it's the whole side. What's happened to Ethan here?
Oh, he's touched.
Just touched the paint. Done exactly what Corey did.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's just missed Corey. Oh.
But it was the angle he took on the way in there and how much speed he carried. You've got to float it. You don't drive in there aggressively in the heavy wet. Byron's gone around. I wonder, is it also in the same area? Yeah, it is. He's done exactly the same thing.
Yep. And then bang. Oh. Yeah, that's the whole left side of the car's gone. Yeah. There we go. Indianapolis. That's another 3, Scotty. That's 8 cars so far.
Guess what?
9.
That's 4. That's 4 of them have made the exact same mistake in a lap.
In one lap.
Yeah. And by the way, safety car has just been called, so the field is going to be condensed yet again. It is We're going to have to go back to that weather graphic and we'll keep referring to it all night long. At the moment, it is dry, but it's dry from turn 1. It's the kink on the run of the Dunlop chicane where the rain has stopped. It has stopped all the way through about to just before Mulsanne chicane 1. And it is definitely drying and rather bright up there at the end of the racetrack. It is lessening around the rest of the track, and we're about to get blasted again, and we're gonna lose a lot of tyre temperature for a lot of cars here, which is going to make this restart trickier because the grip's going to come back right now. Whilst the safety car's out there, it's going to go away again from not only the tyre but also the water on the racetrack.
Oh! Whoa! Where was that? Oh, that's the end of Mulsanne. Just hasn't slowed down and gone straight through. Wow. Under safety car too. Whoa. Although they're still at speed at this stage, so. Wow.
My word. What a difficult night.
Absolutely. I'm kind of glad I'm not out there.
I love it. Honestly, it's the challenge of it.
Look at that. Oh, there we go.
You got out of shape in the braking zone, just touched one puddle at the wrong point of time. And it just fired itself heavily into the barriers down. Heavily! Look at what he's doing to try and get it out of the barrier. It does not want to turn.
I think he got away with it, though. I don't think it's had a lot of damage.
All on the front end.
Wow, it looks like the front end's got a little bit of bend in it, but for the way he hit the front, Scotty, I would have expected, a bent up bonnet, front guard creased up, so I think he's been pretty lucky there with the way that that damage has been taken on that car. But I guess he's probably still got his fast repair. He can come in and take that. Probably lose some track position. We'll see someone like Damon Woods fight through the field, Scotty. That'd be fun. More fun for us than for Damon, I guess. But yeah.
Take a breath, reset, rebuild, refocus, because at the moment all the drivers need to take half a breath. Damon Woods will definitely be coming in a pit lane. Rattray White is also going to take the opportunity for a free pit stop. And an hour and 20 minutes remain on the clock. But the question remains that by your stipulations, Pete, we should be, 50 minutes, 52-ish minutes left.
56 minutes remain in the server. So the race will have to finish before the server finishes. So I'm not sure how long iRacing does that. Yeah. So anyway, so if we go, so it's a bit of an unknown, but yeah.
I'm really curious how far Kurt Chapman has fallen. 11th spot. He'll have the longest pit stop of everyone up here. I reckon some of these guys might have taken fresh wet tyres, you know.
Ooh.
No, I can tell you our race leader, Zach Rattray White, did not. And Eskandari has also not taken tyres.
Yeah, you'd be leaving you have to leave the hot ones on. Have to.
Lachlan Capel.
Yeah.
Capel has taken tyres. Have a look at his stop to 29 seconds or so, although that doesn't compute because he should have cleared tyres a fair bit quicker than that. Lachlan Capel. You know what? Capel's gone for maybe a setup tweak. Softer bars, wing, extra wing, or the like is the reason why he was static for so long. But the benefit is he's come out just in front of Kane Ryder. So even though he's taken that setup adjustment for the wetter weather, what he has done with a fresh set of tyres and an adjustment to the car is he might have just tuned that car up a little bit for the conditions we're currently in. So softer bars, more wing, generally the preferred direction you want to be going. And the reason for that is you want to be rolling over and leaning on the outside tyre a little bit more effectively. You don't want a stiff race car because a stiff race car is trying to keep the car planted on all sides. You want to roll over onto a tyre a little bit more and press that tyre into the ground a lot harder for some more bite.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit more wing for the twistier bits at the expense of possibly some speed on the straights. But
you don't need that right now. That's not really helping.
Safety versus speed, I guess, Scott. That's the compromise you've got to make right now.
they'll be into the driver assists as well, quite heavily, you would imagine. The GT3 package in all of these marks does come with generally 5 or 6 settings for dry, 5 or 6 settings for wet as well. So, and we're about to get underway with our wave by procedure at the moment.
So we got so Ethan Bass, Steve Tonkin, Byron Phillips, Adam Jepson, Ricky Provenzali, or Adam Jepson's still towing. Ricky Provenzali's in the pits. The rest of the guys are DNF'd at the moment. So yeah, only a couple, Scotty, to go, and they'll get their lap back, and hopefully they'll get at least half a lap before the race gets going.
Tyson Broad, Harry Dodds are both done for the day. Both of them have left the server, as has Byron Phillips. Brock Kelly is still showing us towing that car, by the way, which is curious. I'm not sure. He definitely hasn't left the server, but there is massive damage to that car. Adam Jepson currently with a meatball flag. He'll be in the pit lane for a fair while. Byron Phillips has left the server, so he's now dropped out. Okay. So we have Stephen Tonkin's the last car running currently. And he's 31st. So 31 cars out there on a... Oh, no. Oh, I've got some really, really bad news. I just took a look across at my telemetry. Rain intensity, we thought it was heavy before, 70% rain intensity. It was only 56% to 60%. We've added another 10 or 15% rain intensity. The problem being this time, Pete, is if we'll get the zoomed in graphic here in a few moments, is it's at the... Before, we had a drier patch at the northern end of the circuit, which is basically from the start-finish line of the first Mulsanne chicane. That's now flipped. That's now the heaviest section of rain. And basically from the Porsche curves to the southern end of the circuit, which is Mulsanne chicane 1 through around to the Porsche curves, basically, is now going to be in the drier end of the circuit, with some intermediate patches in the middle of that. This is going to be fun, because drivers have just built confidence in that section of the racetrack. No, I have some rain.
So we're not going to get a red flag, though, are we, Scotty? It's not going to be too much rain.
No.
Even though there will be too much rain.
Absolutely.
That would normally, in real conditions, cause red flag to come out. But in the simulator, we drive them.
Is this a Daytona 24-hour situation all over again, where it's just mist and we're on a safety car for what was it, 10 hours of the race?
Yeah. Yeah, no, well, that was fog from fireworks to start with, but anyway.
Wasn't even the 4th of July weekend.
Oh, no. Anyway, we can joke about that all we want, but who'd want to be under safety car for that long? But I tell you what, these guys are probably quite happy they're under safety car right now, although the way they're throwing these cars around at the start of the race, Scotty, I reckon some of them are on the edge of losing it anyway.
I think all of them are driving it at that level. I've just seen Ethan Bass run off track whilst trying to get a lap back, by the way. So he was definitely pushing to try and gain as much time back before we go back to green flag racing. I would expect we're about to see the safety car pull away from the field. The problem is, have a thought for the safety car driver. He's got to make that car get back to pit lane. He has less grip, less downforce than the GT3 cars, but the benefit is less power too. So, I don't know if it's easier or more difficult.
I don't know, but he also doesn't have to do it at the limit of grip.
No, he can.
As the rain starts coming down.
Yeah, we're in trouble here.
Oh, Indianapolis not going to claim any cars this lap. That's my call.
Not even the safety car?
Well, not yet. They're not all through yet.
Well, have a consideration for the cars at the back end. Safety car's actually just about to pull away. You know what? Just for fun, can we stay with the safety car driver? This is Dylan Shepherd catching the cue. I just want to watch this safety car transit back to pit lane. Look at the Aston Martin GT4 with the, would you call them gull wing windscreen wipers?
Oh, opposing windscreen wipers.
Yeah. How do we rate the technique, the driving line here?
Yeah, I'm rating it so far. It's not slipping.
There's a little bit of sand and gravel on the way to the Porsche curves. Oh, he's got out near the curb, nearly chucked on the fence.
if he's 130. He's slowing down.
He's not.
Oh, he's got a little bit of understeer going through there.
He's not underdriving it, by the way. He's not ragging it, but that line isn't great through there. He's supposed to go a little bit wider than that on entry.
Scotty, it's the safety car, not a race car.
Right, we're judging. Oh, here we go.
Oh, he's off. He's on the grass.
I will say a shout out to the team that's working on the clips as they do behind the scenes. That might just get, I'm fairly certain it's Scott Bartain who's behind the scenes and on safety car driving duties tonight. He has been judged and found wanting. We saw everything that just happened. You didn't get missed on camera. Oh, and by the way, I'm fairly certain that clip's going on YouTube for you to watch it at later convenience. So
well done, Scotty. In the last 2 seasons, I've seen 2 people spin safety cars out of control and out of the race whilst going into pit lane. So, mate, that's a 9.5 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, okay, he loses at least a couple points for driving on the slick. So that's an 8 out of 10. It's pretty reasonable. The challenge of the conditions certainly leveled that one up a few.
Slicks? Look, he's on wets.
He's on wets. You're right. He is on wets.
Yeah. No. He's gained extra points for driving through the grass, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's get back to the race.
Rattray White's going to power us up as we get out of this final chicane. Did he check him up? He did check him up just fractionally. Now we're going to go back to green flag racing. Lachlan Cable's gained a few spots. Damon Woods has lost a couple. He's slid down the order. Stuart Ellis might have also gone for adjustments on pit lane. He had a longer pit lane transit time. Rattray White and Sebastian Eskandari are going to go toe-to-toe. And on the last restart, it was Rattray White who went in very hot. Cable has a massive crawl in a moment through the first chicane. That's going to promote Kane Ryder to have a crack. There's battles in behind these guys as well. I heard cars skating off, and there was one car. Kurt Chapman, I thought it was. No, it might have been Reese Wakefield. Someone's gone off.
Yep, Kane Ryder's off. There's about 5 cars have gone off, sorry, through the Dunlop tangent. It's just unbelievable.
Kane Ryder said there was something in that as well. He might have had contact. Something might have happened there and drilled him off the racetrack. And you know what? It was contact. He was turned by a Vermilion Porsche. And it was Eli Donaldson was the lead Vermilion Porsche and all of that. So there was contact in that. Ethan Bass is off the track again, and he was trying to catch the safety car cue. That one won't go missing. Capel is doing his best to stay with the lead too, but at the moment he's just looking for a little bit of visibility, and he'll get that. Somewhere ahead of him is an Aston Martin and a Porsche, and here's another Aston Martin and a Porsche going side by side. Damon Woods gets up the inside of Eli Donaldson, skates it in a little bit deep. It's the first entry point of the Mulsanne chicane, and here comes the rain. Batten down the hatches, boys. It is about to get biblical. I don't know where to go. The problem is, Pete, and Jay Kennedy said these exact words to me, and I have never, ever in my life heard a broadcaster say them before. The benefit for you guys watching along at home is the broadcasters generally are yabbering away into areas, giving us some guidance of where to look, where things are going. And Jay Kennedy, during the last round of V8 Pro, said, I don't know where to look. My timing screen is ablaze. I have never in my life as a broadcaster heard those words uttered. And it was in wet conditions at Spa.
It is kind of like that right now. I mean, I've got my iRacing watch on focus on crashes, and it's jumping around everywhere. So you pick a car, it's off, and then it's going to another car. So sometimes you can't even get the name. But I'm down the back at the moment watching Trent Stapleton have a bit of a drive, come out of the second Moss Lane chicane. He's side by side with Ben Jeffrey. They're bumping the cars up through the water. Everything's all over the place. Trent Stapleton said to me, he's a bit of a... Actually, his team said he's a bit of a wet dream in the race, wet race. So he's having a good time, and he's done all right. They're back down 25th, 26th, but all over the place. Now, can this field get through Indianapolis?
I was going to say, can we jump on board someone in one of those queues, because you cannot describe what is going through the cockpit for a lot of these guys. Side by side to Indy first. We'll have a look at this one, and force a yield is Damon Woods. Eli Donaldson will come out on top in that drag race. And then he goes in a little bit hot into Indianapolis itself. They will continue to go side by side to Arnage. But Damon Woods is going to be on the slick line, the rub-it-in line. The line with all the buttles. He'll get around the outside. They'll touch. They'll bang. And they both survive. Woods away with the position on the run of the Porsche curves. But Clint Smith has now gone around in the background of this one.
Indianapolis is playing 2 more cars, mate. Daniel McCrone and Clint Smith have both gone around. They're both recovering now. You know what? At least these cars can get back in the race.
Daniel McCrone just said there was contact in that one.
Yep.
And Eli Donaldson didn't want to yield to Damon Woods. Now he will have to. Oh, Kane Ryder's in the bin. He's just called for a tow. So that was a view of where Kane Ryder was parked up. There is one of the 2 rear wheels off of that car. He will get back to pit lane. There will be no safety car as a result of that one.
That's it. Indianapolis is off my love list. We're not going there as to a track. Guys, just survive the corner, all right?
Just keeping an eye on Stuart Ellis, who's struggling behind him quite a lot. Bit of Mercedes versus Mercedes dogfight between himself and Colin Nixon. Jet Saragi and Eli Donaldson just ahead of them as well. And the next time by one of those long straight sections, we're going to jump on the car towards the back end of one of these patches, because for anyone who hasn't experienced it, and Pete, you and I were racing together when rain first has made its way onto iRacing, and I said to you, I cannot see a thing, and you went, oh, I can see a fair bit. I know where the car is. I said, tell me where not to drive and I'll avoid it if I can. And that is literally what it feels like.
Yep. Yep, so let's get into a cockpit and we'll see what it looks like. Oh, hang on, not yet.
This is a swimming pool for Kurt Chapman and Marcus Watson. Sam Sutton's the driver in behind that's got bird's eye view of what's about to happen. And again, everyone's just looking for where you cross it over. Kurt Chapman got a great drive off of there. Now he's looking at the inside heading to Mulsanne.
That was a lovely, lovely crossover.
That's a solid car. Up ahead, Stuart Ellis, so that solves the Mercedes battle we were talking about last lap. Tell you what, he might even be the guy to go on board and get a sense of what the spray looks like. Yeah, that.
There we go. Pick your breaker marker. We know it's up here somewhere. There it is now. There you go. Got it.
Oh, there's a flashing light in front of him too. The rain light was the only clue he had that Stuart Ellis was there somewhere. There was a car that just dodged that chicane too. Kurt Chapman
this will be a great view, this one. Right up close. You can see how much sight you do get when you get out of the spray, but you get back into a bit of spray that about 100 metres from the car, you get into that white glow and then you can see absolutely nothing, Scotty. You can't even see your breaker marker on the side of the track there. You know it's coming up by the shape of the trees and how far you're driven, but you get really no idea where to slow down.
No, just hoping, praying, whatever you can see. And those rain lights are so important. Flashing lights mean something. There's something you can look for. Again, the human eye looks for any change in movement that possibly can. It reads that quite well. Rain intensity building fractionally now down at this end of the circuit. We are an hour
heavy
and 4
showers.
minutes left.
Heavy showers are just about hitting the Porsche curves. It's coming in. It's coming in.
Andrew Scordelis finds the gravel trap and rotates the Aston. I think it's just happened in car 22. You saw Colin Nixon given a drive-through penalty, which has been excised. And I don't have any further information on that one at the moment. I was just trying to take a read, see what I could find, but that one has been pulled away. Scordelis has just requested a tow. Oh, Scordelis actually just called for a tow. Now he's got out of there. Is there damage on that car? Is he okay? I think he was just bogged.
No. Yep, he's going. All right, Scotty. heavy rain is on the track.
Eli Donaldson's just gone around the Porsche curves and is losing positions. Yeah, and it's very heavy, and it's starting from this side of the track in the Porsche curves. He's spinning tyres, trying to find some purchase. Once you get rolling and you build a little bit of momentum, it's actually not too bad, but it's building that momentum that's the tricky part. Entering into the Porsche curves. Two Mustangs and an Aston Martin all go around in sympathy.
Oh, Scotty, I was watching that the whole time, and Marcus Watson was just going side by side with that black Porsche, whoever's in that one there, and it was just nothing more than a little bit of rear overspin, and he's touched the cars. They've all turned around and hit each other. So I'm going to say this: it's really hard to say there's no driving infringement there. It's just accident. You know what I mean?
Kurt Chapman's going to bail out of this one, jump pit lane. That's a car in the fence. Ben Jeffrey, that might do it for him. There's a car going around at turn 1. It would be Connor Nixon's now going around at turn 1, and he's chucked in the back lane. Rear wing off the Mercedes. Dean Mackay. Because remember, it was chucking it down to this section of the racetrack last time by. Nobody's made the adjustment for how wet it is.
So Dean Mackay's just called something in there, Scotty, so he might have got a touch. That might not have been a solo incident. Locking cable's well off the track there.
There's a bunch of stuff. It is so heavy at this section of the circuit now. There's a bunch of stuff that's going on.
Oh, yes, yep. Well, I know what that's like, Lockie. You'll be right, mate. You're in good company.
I wouldn't say good, but you're in company.
At least at least he didn't have 700 cars running into him.
Ricky Provenzale and Alfonso Latella did not have any visibility of that incident last weekend. I tell you what, they drove in there at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Unfortunately for them, Dean Mackay and Seb Sutton have gone toe-to-toe into the first Mulsanne chicane. That's the replay of Dean Mackay. Did it on his own. And there was a rejoin that was talked about here. And you can just see he's just trying to find somewhere to just come back onto the racetrack. And there's an Aston Martin that shows itself up and on the scene. Have a look at the kitty litter that's just everywhere at turn 3.
All right, Scotty, I'm telling you, there is the heaviest of the rain that we're going to get, I think, right now. And it's track wide. So this is going to be like this for probably about 5 to 10 minutes. We're 9:25 into the server, that I think is going to end at 10, but you guys think differently. So potentially we've got 30 minutes of race left, but also we've potentially got an hour left. I don't know how to call it, Scotty. Do you?
Get your wellies.
Let's just call it.
Get your floaties and get your hot chocolate, I think is about all you can say.
Yeah, and if we see Barty with a white flag, we'd go, hey, it's the last lap, everyone.
Yeah. That's what we're going to be looking for, I think, as well. My word. The thing is, there's still a pit stop to come, and it's in the near future. Now, fuel distance is about the same in the wet and the dry. The trouble is, we are doing 3-minute 50 lap times, 3-minute 52, 53 lap times, somewhere around there in the dry. We are over 30 seconds slower a lap in these conditions.
So most of the cars are on their 3rd lap now, after coming out of the pits, or 4th lap now actually, after coming out of the pits. So they've all got 4 laps of fuel left. Oh, Indianapolis claims another 2.
Make it 2.
It's 14. Scotty, I'm going to stop counting.
No, keep the count up because it's important. It's 15.
It's 15.
Oh, Jet Saragi's just thrown it away in the Porsche curves. And there goes Eli Donaldson again.
Oh, was that a tap, that one?
It is very... No, that one was on his own. It is very, very, very wet at the moment. Normally, iRacing has several indicators for how wet the track is. At the moment, it just says very wet. I added the extra varies myself, but that's how it feels at the moment.
Yeah, Eli's car's got damage, so it's crabbing in the rear. So potentially that crabbing has just caused him to have that crash there. But I don't know. Maybe he should just go in and put slicks on and see how he goes. To be honest,
I don't know. Daniel McCrowan is definitely down at Indy in a sand
16.
trap.
I might have to go and recount these. I reckon we're higher than 16, to be honest. I'll tell you what, these guys are putting on a magnificent show. All bloody, mate, all credit to them for getting to this. He's going backwards. He's driving into a gap.
I think he's had enough.
Well, Scotty, you only get one pass repair, so
Donaldson's still crabbing.
yeah.
Stephen Tonkin's now requested a tow. Reese Wakefield's just requested. Oh, that's massive. That's not quite Indy, so that one doesn't technically count. This is turn 1 to 2. It might actually be a safety car from car 82.
Well,
Jordan
might
Pearce.
be. Well, it is. Yeah.
Again, Pete, I don't know where to look because it's all cars off all the time, everywhere.
Okay, Scotty. So I'm gonna pose a question, and I might not go down well, but are these guys pushing too hard?
It was no, and the reason I say that is because the rain intensity is extremely heavy at one end of the circuit and non-existent at the other. So, and it's swapped ends of the circuit. Is it wetter than it's been and they need to drive to those conditions? Yes, but it's still a car race. They still got to press on. And you just build confidence at one end of the track. And you lost it. Yeah, but it's so difficult to read because if the rain was consistent at one end of the circuit and bad, and consistently bad at one of the circuit, the other circuit's basically dry, I don't think we'd be seeing this. It's because the conditions are changing so aggressively.
No, that's right. Look, I don't ask the question like to point the finger at anybody. I think
agree.
It's a good discussion point because it is a very difficult thing to drive a fast race car in the wet. And a fast race car in wet changing conditions on a long track when the conditions are not subtly changing, they're dramatically changing. You're kind of experimenting every lap type thing. And I think that's what we're finding.
If this was a GP circuit length, if this was a sub 2 minute length racetrack, I don't think we'd be having these problems because the conditions would be a lot more consistent. Yes, there would be sections of the track that would be out of the heavier rain, and there would, but the bulk of the track would be similar. Is what we're trying to say to the viewer watching along at home, and the changeable conditions and how you read them. Realistically, for an engineering team working with a set of drivers, if this was an endurance race, you'd be feeding them information. We're expecting rain at this end of the circuit at this point in time, rain increasing here, track's just going to get more and more tricky up this end. That's doable. But for the bulk of the drivers in the field here tonight, they're on their own, and they don't have access to a weather readout.
No, and unusually. So normally in this race, I'm also dropping in the pit boxes and giving them a little bit of a viewing of what's going on. I'm not doing that, obviously, because it's just you and I tonight. So some of the teams that otherwise would have had some of that sort of visual advice from outside the car, they're not getting that tonight.
It's the fact that we have seen high quality drivers make major mistakes. I think says it.
Yeah.
So read into that what you will, but it is exceptionally tricky out there at all stages and repeated mistakes as well is the big challenge.
17. 18.
You barely got 17 out and 18 slid in there. I can't. Right. No, I've never seen anything like. I've got to be honest. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah. Hang on, we're about to get 19.
Oh, Kurt Chapman.
Yep. Oh, he saved it somehow. No, wheel damage. Yep. Yeah, no, his back end's done. There's two cars.
Kurt Chapman
Okay. Kurt's towing.
He only had to drive to one of the rear wheels.
Trent's it's probably towing. Safety car's coming out, boys. Here we go. Safety car again. Yeah.
So leader's just gone through. They'll leave it at the end of pit lane and wait.
No, also. So essentially, they still are allowed to keep running at effectively race pace, but no overtaking, unless the car in front of you goes off and does something silly. Just stay in line, race pace to get through to the pits, and then when the leader comes around, the safety car will come out the field. So effectively
does something silly. Everyone's doing things silly at the moment. That's the tricky part.
No, we talked about that, Scotty. It's not silly. They're facing changeable conditions and they're doing the best that they can, right? And that's why I asked the question. It's not
raining at Tete Rouge, which means head of the Mulsanne, effectively, which is the corner coming on. It is dry up this end of the racetrack at the moment. You can see the sunshine back out.
Yeah, I know, but
for now. Gee whiz.
All right, but we've got a fast no overtaking that. That's effectively what we've got right now.
Normally, so normally what happens, even the majors 24-hour last year, heavy rain, heavy wet weather. There was a lot of debate in the community in and around majors because it is a privately run event. For the first year that rain came out, there was a lot of issues with the way that rain was put into the sim in terms of efficiency on hardware, and it was challenging hardware. In the way that things were going. I did just hear there was a report cut from Car 969 about passing a safety car. That'll be an interesting one.
Yep.
Try and find it. But the big thing that I was going to say was it was about hardware efficiency and people being able to run things. They didn't run it the first year that rain was out. Last year they went, yep, it's been out for a year. We think everything's relatively A-okay. Let's go ahead and run it. And they might have set the rain a little bit too heavy. And I think we're experiencing little bits and pieces of that. But the thing in that event at that point in time was that the rain was pretty well, whenever it hit the whole track at the same time. It wasn't one end of the racetrack. We are seeing both ends of the racetrack effectively being different. Nürburgring 24-hour, that might have been the passing of the safety car. I think that's just been yielded back and that's reset the position. Okay, so don't need to investigate that one any further. That one sort of solves itself. The change here is that you've got effectively two ends of the racetrack and they're flip-flopping in terms of the conditions. Now, Nürburgring, Nordschleife is another track that's of similar length and with different aspects of it. And that did happen during the iRacing Nürburgring 24-hour last year, was that there was different conditions. But again, when the rain went, it went and stayed away. And when the rain came, it was patches of the track, and very short patches of the track were not raining at any one point in time, but it was raining pretty consistently over the whole racetrack. We're not seeing that at the moment. And that's the problem that these guys are having. I don't think I've ever seen a circuit and a set of conditions do this before. And I'm actually really curious to pick the brains of a whole bunch of different guys about how tricky the conditions are. I think Daniel McCrowan might be done for the night, but I'm fairly certain I still see him down there. Pete, do you want to go and see if you can grab the Team Max Boost guys and see if anyone's available to come and have a quick chat about how difficult the conditions are? So, and I'll talk us through things for the meantime, but the big thing is the changeability of the conditions is tricky. And again, Dan Yeaman's actually just said he's going to jump in and have a chat from behind the... And Dan, do you recall an event ever that has had changeable conditions like this at different ends of the circuit?
For the sheer sake of the fact that I haven't had a chance to race a ton of stuff, it feels like of late, that has actually tested this. And the reality is that also Le Mans and the Nürburgring 24 courses are the two tracks where you're going to see it. I cannot recall this level of variation that we're seeing.
So, Scotty, so Kane Ryder's just joined us now. He's happy to have a quick chat about the conditions and what it's like to drive in. Maybe we can jump in his cockpit while he's letting us know what's going on.
Okay.
No, I'm on the sidelines now, guys. But yeah, that's incredibly difficult out there. The spray alone makes it near impossible to judge anything other than the car in front of you. So, unfortunately, I got clipped from a car behind me that didn't judge the spray so well. But Yeah, no, incredibly difficult out there, guys.
But the big thing I wanted to ask you is, what is it like at the moment to sort of drive? Because what we're seeing on the radar is one end of the track is covered in extremely heavy rain and the other end's dry, or drying.
It seems to change every lap, to be honest. Like sometimes through Porsche curves, like there is a bit of a dry line through there where you can be a bit more aggressive. Other times it's just like glass. You're literally just seeing water laying on top everywhere. So, but no, it's other than there, that was the only place I was struggling. That in turn and sector 1, where you're really, trying to get the car to pivot. That's when you can get the rear to step out a bit. But the Lambo was actually feeling really good, so I'm a bit, sad that I'm on the sidelines now.
It's a bit of a shame. Sorry, Scotty. The Lambo was super fast in the real Nürburgring last weekend, but to have it going here, the cars are just catching up to some slow ones now. Kane, what I was going to say was, don't be too hard on the other drivers. Some of the things we've seen tonight is just tricky track, just minor lockups causing ABS to kick in, people losing control when they otherwise would have, and making contact with others. So real small stuff, but because everybody's racing so closely, it's impacting other people. So I hope that everybody who's been impacting the team can sort of, I guess, look above.
Oh no, I get that.
Of the race, and it's not easy for anybody, I don't think.
Oh no, she's 10 out of 10 difficulty out there at the moment. So yeah. But yeah, guys, it's she's brutal out there. So anyone that gets home without having to spin is just going to naturally climb up the order, because that's how I had a blinder of a lap 1. I don't think I passed anyone on track. I just kept it on the black stuff, and people just coming off left, right, and centre. So,
got it.
Yeah, mate, the big thing what's the discussion like in and amongst the team at the moment? Because obviously you're sort of managing, and you're not just keeping yourself under wraps, you're sort of trying to go, okay, where's the racetrack going? You've got Sebastian sitting in such a strong position at the front, and then everyone goes, well, he's doing really, really well, we've got to try and chase him, but you're all in different hardware, and we've talked a little bit about how difficult that Corvette can be at times to drive, and yet Daniel's out there trying to do his best at it. You're in a Lamborghini, there's Porsches, a lot of different hardware going on. And what's the chatter about how to drive the car like within the team?
Look, I can only talk to Jet about how to drive it, but like Seb is just a naturally gifted young driver, so he's figured that Porsche out pretty well. When he can keep it pretty straight, he's as quick as the front two, so we just need him to keep the car straight, not overdrive. I mean, he's got the 10-second penalty hanging over, but I mean, it'd just be good to take the checkered flag. That'd be good enough for him. And I mean, Jet's doing an incredible job. So he doesn't sim as much as the other ones, but I mean, every time he comes on, he's constantly improving. So I mean, the two young guys in the team are doing exceptional. Me and Dan, unfortunately, not so much.
Mate, a final thing before I let you go. Do you have somebody who's adept at weather forecasting? Because I think by the end of this, we're all going to need a new weather forecast monitor, because I'm about ready to punch mine, because it keeps telling me it's dry at this end, it's wet at that end, it's dry at this end, it's wet at that end, it's wet at this end, it's dry at that end. So,
look, I don't think anyone's getting off these wets, so and just most of these, you just stay on the wets, I think, and just be safe. That's the one.
Mate, go have some fun and go rough up your teammates, and don't let them have a cruisy race to the end. Make sure you absolutely get in their ear and tell them we're counting on them for a spicy finish, yeah?
No worries, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, Kane. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Righto, safety car's going to be pulling away from the field this lap. The troubling thing, Pete, is we're currently on the run to the Mulsanne corner, the last corner before we head off the Mulsanne straight. Then we have to navigate the technical and tricky Indianapolis. So I'm taking bets on how many cars go off this time into Indy.
Oh, no, it should be one of those safe laps.
18?
Should be one of those safe laps. We are at 18. Actually, no, we're at 19. But have a look at the rain radar, Scotty. Have a close look at the rain radar. Look what's about to come. And we've still got at least 20 minutes of racing to go.
But actually, there is one person I can be confident in is currently complaining about the weather. I'll give you one guess.
Lockie Capel.
No. He complains about everything, from the humidity to the temperature to everything. So,
love you, Lockie. Shout out, love you, Lockie.
No, it's not Lockie. I'm telling you, it's not Lockie. It's Owen Coleman.
I've never heard Owen complain.
No, Owen's never complained about anything ever. I guarantee you there are swear words coming out of him. If I was in the Pro Dive Racing stable at the moment, you've got Ryan Bell, Stapleton, and Redden in there at the moment with him, I would have muted him, and my race probably went a fair bit better. So, shout out to Owen. Him and I actually had a big breakdown, sat down and chatted about racing actually on Monday this week about the limited race last week and how tricky the conditions were in that. I think he might be regretting complaining about how tricky the conditions were in limited last weekend.
Well, let's say it's his fault. So, Owen said, it wasn't tricky enough in limited, so asked the organisers to make it more difficult. We can put that story out there, can't we? Yeah.
Sure. It's all Owen's fault.
Yeah.
Good, sweet. Yeah, okay. Owen's never being invited back to this series ever again. I think is the entire driver base communicating as one. Righto. They just said safety car at Indianapolis in the sim, and I don't know if that was a warning. Righto, safety car is now pulling away. This is Ben Wilder making his way out of pit lane, and I think he's going to attempt to try and catch the back end of the... Is he several laps down, Wilder? Or is he on the lead lap? Last car on the lead lap, sweet.
Yeah, well, get out there and warm tyres and race on.
Well, the big thing will be he'll get a long opportunity to put some heat in these tyres before he catches the field, so he'll have the most speed when we actually get back to green flag racing. Stone Cold tyres about to be let loose. Trent Stapleton's gotten back out there as well. Also going to be looking to try and find some speed. Yeah, this is going to be wild, wet and woolly as we get set for another safety car restart. Right. Who are you looking at, Pete? Damon Woods is back in a P2 and with an opportunity, although he's made a few mistakes tonight. Will that open the door for Eskandari?
Right now, I'm looking at Scott drive the safety car into pit lane, and I can tell you that he didn't hit the grass this time. It was 10 out of 10 entry. Absolutely perfect. So, so good on you, Scotty. Well done. Great driving. Most challenging safety car driving that we've seen all year, I think, across all leagues. But that was what I meant to watch. Now, who am I watching now in the race? Good question. I'm keeping an eye on Isaac Curtis, I think, because Isaac stood out to me in the championship results, P5, first of the AITT race car drivers. And he's having another good round tonight. But we're seeing Zach and Damon are back together at the front. So cream rises at the top, eh?
We go. Rattray White and Damon Woods, naming the more iconic pairing in GT racing in Australia at the moment. And they will go aggressive on the restart. Eskandar is going to try and go with them. Spoke to his teammate moments ago about the opportunity and the potential. Have a look at them all get down to the right-hand side of the start-finish straight. Eskandari can't see a thing in the spray on the run to turn number 1. He'll touch the curbing on the inside of turn 1. They all fire across to where the grip is going to be on the left-hand side of the road at turn 2. The chicane and the rise up the outer side. 39 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. We're running out of time. And Eskandari has a Porsche with a fair bit more grip on this opening lap, but he's going to be on the slippery line when he heads into the turn 3 around the outside of David Woods. Woods will put the elbow to him, but the grip will be on the left-hand side of the road. He sends a massive move into turn 5 before we'll head to the head of the Mulsanne straight, around the outside. What's the Porsche going to be like in terms of horses? The Assens got a whole bunch of them, turbocharged and all. It will try and find that speed in a straight line, but it's going to be Eskandari in these heavier, tricky, trying, wet conditions and the spray from the Mulsanne. Somebody's going to find the fence. Of that, you can be certain. It's not done yet, not by any stretch of the imagination. The question will be who and where and when they find the barriers.
Eskandari is doing a wonderful job, mate. He is a great new addition to this league, I tell you what. His first race here, and he's up there racing with the 2 protagonists that have given us entertainment the whole time. This is great, mate. We got 3 of them, Scotty. How good's that? Elbows
are definitely out up and down the field. At the moment, Lachlan Cable's trying to go with that front group of 3. Eskandari is still hanging on to P3. Look at them weaving for a little bit of space. Marcus Watson is defending aggressively from Sam Sutton, who's going to try and get to his inside to Mulsanne Chicane too. Oh, and around goes Marcus Watson. And heavily into the barriers. Somebody just about collected the rear bumper of Sutton. It was Chet Saragi who nearly went into him. Oh, Reese Wakefield gets pitched in the middle of 3 wide. There's 3 cars side by side in the middle of all that one. When Marcus Watson rejoined, there'll be damage on the rear end of that Mustang for certain. He hit the barriers. Might have glanced off them, might have been able to keep going.
Scotty, I think Marcus Watson's got away with that, mate. He barely has any damage at the back of that at all. Ethan Bathurst just had something happen. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that didn't last long. Gee whiz, it didn't last long. Oh my lord, is that the Mustang? It is Ethan Bass. They're just going to let him go out of there. They don't want anything more to do with them. Chet Saragi is currently spinning on the straight. Someone's going to clean him up. Yeah. It was Andrew Scordelis. Could not see him at all.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
And the reason he did that was because he was looking for the right-hand side of the road in all the spray, and he had no idea where he was relative to the road, and he touched the paint on the right-hand side of the road. That one will be worth a replay, because that will show you exactly how bad the conditions are. Make it 20 at Indianapolis.
20.
That was a car off. Yeah.
That's another car off, yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have talked
Isaac
about
Curtis.
it.
It's Isaac Curtis, yeah. He's around and in trouble. And again, it's just survive through the conditions if you can. Eskandari's gone through to P2 and still going with Rattray White. Saragi has been cleared for a tow back to pit lane. That might be his night done as well. Cars are falling by the wayside. The trouble is cold tyres and lack of grip in changeable conditions, in tricky conditions, in conditions that are massively wetted on one end of the track, are massively dry, or sorry, that's incorrect. It's still wet at the other end. It is drying, is the way to mention it. But this will be the heaviest of it at the moment, 64% currently, and it's going to stay with us at all ends of the racetrack. So it is going to be the most difficult we're likely to see. Reese Wakefield's now around.
I think we've said that twice already. It's going to be the most difficult one to see.
Yeah, it's got heavier
It's
though.
coming back. But the thing, look, I'm watching the clock, Scotty, so we're about to go to 9:50. So if we have a server issue, 2 more laps, in my mind. If we don't have a server issue, 35 more laps, a whole stint.
35? You mean 35? Okay,
35 minutes.
I got there. I realised what you said. I was like, 35 laps? Gee whiz, how long is this race going? Corey Bennett's in the Acura and backwards again. About the top 4. All starting to concertina and back up together. Lachlan Cable's tagging on the rear end of them. And I think Sam Sutton's actually starting to close in. Sutton's up 25 spots from qualifying.
Yeah,
that's not too hard tonight.
Brett White is just eking out a little bit of a gap over Damon and Sebastian.
Go ahead, Dan.
All right, I'll mute myself to make this one since I've been... I wanted to mention under the safety car, guys, whilst Pete was talking or getting caned, but Seb has a very aggressive tyre warm-up strategy where he's flicking the car side to side, and it's clearly useful on the very first lap, but it would appear there's not quite as competitive as the lap's gone. As whilst we watch this, Reese Wakefield, who's stuck in the gravel at the Porsche curbs now, apparently got more issues for his car. It has him needing to go back to the pits to serve that mechanical black flag. It's just popped up.
Okay, so what I've just heard Dan say, Scotty, is I think Seb's overwarming his tyres.
Maybe.
He's paying the price in the second lap.
Alternatively, is he sitting there and going, my best opportunity to get to if he gets to the lead, he gets the visibility, he can disappear off down the road, potentially. So that's his best opportunity, so why not?
Yeah, just as a closing thought, I can't say with any definitiveness whether it's overwarming the car or it is firing the car up better. But then once...
Oh, he's going in on Damon Woods, as you mentioned that.
Yeah, there's Woods and Rattray White. Once they get their cars fired up, their cars are still slightly better tonight. It's very unclear. And as Woods is now somewhere way off to the right of the road, but he hangs onto it. Because there was a stint there where Seb dropped about 10 seconds back behind Zach before we had another safety car to rebunch the field. So it would appear the long run is still in favour of our top two tonight. But even then, as Pete has mentioned, they're not immune to the issues out here tonight with the conditions and visibility on this circuit.
Yeah, no, great pickup there, Dan. Thank you.
The big thing I'm just watching is the lines. They get right out beyond the track limit and the white line, but it's a floated out there. Dan, take note of that. I remember you spinning a wet car at Bathurst earlier on in this year. Floated outside the white line. Then it bites, and then you need to float it back across the white line, then you go to tip it in. Yeah, Dan doesn't want that one mentioned as much as possible. He's off to hide and bury his face. He got handed the car with very little wet practice for the OSR 12 hour in the middle of the rain, and I think he did the bulk of the wet driving. In that asking, Ryan Bell's just had an issue, I think, with the Mulsanne 1 chicane or Mulsanne 2 to some degree. He's back in the pit lane. He might have been having a look at it after getting back to pit lane, but having a look at the replay. Found something he wasn't necessarily all that happy with. Woods and Rattray White are now starting to skate clear, which would follow on with what Dan was saying before. But in the again, half an hour left. The heaviest of the rain is now here, and then we hope it's clearing up, and it might stay away once we get through this last patch. Yeah. We'll see that next hole in the weather that's coming. I do actually wonder whether or not we might get the southern edge of that, actually. So there is every opportunity that this may dry up fractionally and head in our direction. Penalty for car 218.
Eli.
Is Eli Donaldson. Eli Donaldson was crabbing earlier on. He's now missing a rear wing, so I would say the car 218's night might be over as well.
Yeah, Scotty. Well, let's do a quick run through. We've got quite a few DNFs tonight. So from the bottom, Brock Kelly, Harry Dodds, Tyson Broad, they're all out. Matt Bailey is out. Rick Romdale's in the pits. I think he's called it a night now. Anyway, Adam Jepson is out. Byron Phillips is out. Kane Ryder currently towing. He dropped in Saurus. He's currently out of the race tonight. Connor Nixon, big name out. Steve Tonkin, Dan McCrone, Dean Mackay is a big name to be out as well. Ben Jeffries out, and we've got Ethan Bass currently towing, and Reece Wakefield as the last of the list of DNFs, mate. So about 16 cars at the moment. We've had more cars crash at Indianapolis, but that's a hell of a lot of cars to not finish a 2-hour race.
Yeah, hell of a lot. Hell of a lot of cars out. And I've had tricky nights tonight, and again the open field as well. Effectively, what's considered the stronger end of the categories here. To be fair, the most challenging. So Andrew Scordillis has just come to pit lane. Eli Donaldson has missed pit lane, although he's missing a rear wing, and I don't think he cares at this point in time. He's just going to chalk up as many laps as he possibly can. We're down to 15 running in that lead pack? 16. 16. 16 running.
16, yep. And then 17th's not far back, and then we drop down. We do have P25 still running, but they're about I think they'll end up being at about P20 so.
So we saw a couple laps ago, there was a massive old chunk, and it was touching did you see the white line in the middle of the road? And the Mustang just had nowhere to go. I think that's Ethan Bass, it was. And he just collected the Eli Donaldson Porsche, and then it ricochets back out and across the other side of the road. The problem in that instance is if he's on the puddles and the speed he was carrying through there, I just wonder even if he has got to the brake pedal, if there was nothing. I don't know that there's any way he would have prevented it. He's got nothing he can do.
No. I learnt last week you can hold your foot right on the brake pedal and the car just still bounces all the way in a place. So, yep.
Is that
Not
Stapleton? Ryan Bell, my apologies. Ryan Bell.
Yep.
Yeah. It is the Pro Dive Racing group of cars, though. And you can see how casual. He's chilling. He's just trying to pick his way through that one, and there's nothing he could have done. Oh, who was that car that got through there at the end? That was an interesting one. Either way, we've missed that one and missed the opportunity. So at the moment, under half an hour left in a sodden old race. So Pete, realistically, we're probably looking for that white flag. You said if it's going to come, it's probably what? This lap, next lap?
It should come this lap. We're 9:57, so we're 3 minutes to effectively server end. But we're about to learn what happens when the race goes beyond what you've booked in the iRacing server.
Righto. We are losing them like flies at the moment. And that rain is hit and miss at the moment. It is probably the lightest it's going to be to the end of the night. At the moment, at portions of the track. Either it is going to lighten from here or get heavier. There is no in between. It will not stay static.
Or the race will end.
Read out, or the race might end. We just don't know. What could happen? You may not even get a white flag. They may just throw the checker next time by. Not this lap, but it'll be the next lap. It might just throw the checker if we hit that sort of server circumstance. We just don't know. For now, 26 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock. We're challenging the realm of possibilities in terms of what's possible in an iRacing server. We're challenging the realm of what's possible with race cars that should resemble boats because they are cutting wake through the amount of water on the track at the moment.
That's where you have a fishing charter sponsor, right? And then your car feels like a boat. Works.
I feel like somebody in this commentary box has got one of those. Pete, where would you dip your rod around this track at the moment? What do you think is the most water to be finding something off the coast?
I mean, the biggest hits you get, like, because that's how you're talking fishing. Yeah, I got a big hit. It has to be Indianapolis, right?
I knew I was going to get something funny out of you when I threw that one out there. That was a baited line waiting. Good response from Peter Baxter. Right, this battle between Eskandari and Capel is starting to come together. Eskandari's found a little bit of time. It's just sort of seeing and soaring. At the moment, no rain through this sector, so it is improving fractionally compared to where they were last night. The biggest benefit of having another car in front of you is that he tests the conditions, and then you can sort of go, yeah, it's a little bit better than that. No, it's a little bit worse than that. If you see him skating off before you even get there, you know to take it even easier. But the problem is, there's 7 tenths between them. I don't know how much Capel can actually react to that. Just confirming from me at the moment, Dan Yeaman, are you live? Can our broadcast chat hear us? No, so Dan Yeaman is talking in my ear. He has dipped in to say enough to us. He did actually just say this is the sector time. So sector 1 is effectively from the start-finish line all the way through to the start of the Mulsanne. Sector 2 is from the Mulsanne through to where was the end of the second sector, please, Dan? Approaching Indianapolis. Sector 3 is Indianapolis all the way to the line. And there's not much between them, although Eskandari is really, really good. Basically, the length of the Mulsanne through to Indy is the biggest gain. So whether or not Capel made a mistake in their last lap or not, you've been called out in YouTube chat, by the way, Pete. And some big fish being caught in Indy. Hey, PB, from the Revolution Racing outfit.
Absolutely. Get in there.
Pete,
A bit of snappers by the sound of it, I reckon.
Bit of tank slapper. I don't know if that's all that great for eating, though. In the meantime, Isaac Kurtz, Corey Bennett's been reasonably pacey at times. It's really interesting to note how many Astons do we actually have in the limited field. It's next to none of them. And then all of a sudden, 3/4 of the field in open is Aston.
Did these guys change cars? No, they didn't.
No, most of them are on the Aston.
They can't. Yeah. Okay, Scotty, it's 10:01. The serve's still going. That's a good thing.
I didn't see a white flag.
No, I haven't seen a white flag. I haven't seen a checkered flag. We might see something. Let's keep an eye. If something is going to happen, it's going to be when the leaders cross the line this time, I suspect. Otherwise, I think we can assume it. Wait, no, I won't say that. I was going to assume we're going to go to the end, but...
My crew chief just said in my ear, as we're watching these guys run down towards Indianapolis, it's raining harder, take care. I think they should just take care at Indianapolis full stop. The reason I've still got him active, well, it's actually... Oh, Lachlan Capel coming into the rear bumper! He found a little bit of pace in the braking zone and crept up on Sebastian Eskandari more than he thought. Well, it was the painted line on the white stuff in the middle of the road that was problematic for Capel on that time of asking. But this time, whatever the mistake was in the middle sector on this lap, he's improved upon it from last lap. He is starting to make time towards Eskandari. So these two will challenge each other. We watch from Indianapolis once again with bated breath because Pete thinks he's about to hook a big one as they head down in there. And I know as you crawl out the other side. Oh, and by the way, I think the sun's setting. Yeah, I'm fairly confident the sun's setting because I all of a sudden just noticed, hang on, it's getting darker out there on the racetrack. And yes, it is just before 8 p.m. in sim time at the moment. It is definitely getting darker out there.
Why not finish this race in the dark, Scotty? What else? I mean, we might as well turn the lights off. We've turned everything else off. We turned the grip off.
David
we
Woods
turned the
is
fuel
on
off.
speed again too. He's actually back challenging Zach Rattray-White for the lead. Whereas there's only a couple of tenths between those guys at the moment, so it's coming good. That is the rain. Thank you, Dan Yeaman, for bringing that one up. That is the rain. That is the intensity build up, drop off, build up, drop off, build up, drop off. Since Dan joined the server just after race start. Actually, my apologies. Dan just said that's the last half an hour.
There's more coming.
So there's a gap in there of no rain, heavy rain, light, heavy, light, none, heavy, dropping off again. So we are in the eye of the storm for now, and the intensity has certainly dropped off. And again, it's the first sector whereby that intensity has dropped off and the confidence for these drivers will start to build. The problem and the challenge that these guys have got is that confidence builds and it's going to get sapped again.
Yeah, Eli Donaldson and Andrew Scodillis have just both come off the entry to the Porsche curves there, Scotty. So I'm not sure if there was a bit of a tap there or something between them, but two more cars and Andrew Scodillis is stuck in the stand.
Oh, I think Eli Donaldson might now decide to make that car re-enter the pit lane. There is Scodillis in the Aston Martin and a slide out of the Porsche curves on the run back towards pit lane. He might still be actually somewhat okay at this point in time. Eli Donaldson, though, is... I think he's just living on borrowed time. Okay, it's going to be the pair of them. They'll go in there together. Donaldson's damage was as bad as it was before he got there. Both of them just skated off. Neither of them pulled the car up. I've never seen that before.
I have. Olympic ice skating, figure dancing.
Would it have happened to have been the gold medal race?
Yeah.
In the year 2000. Was it the year 2000? No, it wasn't the year 2000. What was it, 96, 98?
Synchronised spinning. Yeah. Oh, poor buggers. I can't believe everybody's raced as much in the race. Oh, good goal,
Stephen
fellas.
Bradbury in the year 2002 winning the gold medal. It was a little bit like watching that, only there wasn't a gold medal on the line. It wasn't a race for the win. It was deep in the field. David Woods has made another mistake and fallen back off of Zach Rattray-White at the moment. And there's the sun again. It was getting darker just a few moments ago, and now the sun's been... I'm lost. I'm done. I've given up trying to predict this race.
Tell you what's been surprised, Dan, that was a fabulous score by Dan. Have a look at Sebastian this boundary. He's really dropped off the pace with 13 seconds now behind Damon Woods. So yeah, right observation there. Lockie Capel's giving him a hard time, and I think Lockie's got a chance there, but and then another big gap to Sam Sutton. So
there's another way to think about it. Does the Aston Martin just have a worse cold tyre performance? Because the Porsche is obviously known as one of the stronger cars in the wet. So obviously it just fires off better on cold tyres with traction in the engine overall. That
wasn't last week.
Yeah.
The Porsche wasn't last week.
I would lean on that might have been a driver error.
No, it was the car.
You can thank the crew chief for feeding you a good strategy. I'll never be told that it was a good strategy. Pete behests. Pete will stand on that hill and is not afraid to die on it. The strategy I put him on last week was terrible. To the tune of 10 seconds, he says.
Cost me 10 seconds.
Yeah, you're on the right tire, mate. You were on the right tire at the right time.
That's right. I cost myself 7 minutes, but hey, there's 21.
You just found somebody. Have you stopped watching the race and just started watching Indianapolis?
No, mate. I said I'm on focus on crashes, so my iRacing goes to Indianapolis. Yep.
Well, I don't think that one needs to be commented on at all. I know the comments will be flying from that car.
Actually,
It'll
they're
be
probably
1 or 2 plus.
they're representative of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably the most angry I've heard you in a race car, to be fair, last weekend. But for Owen Coleman, not happy with the rear end of that race car, and it's thrown itself at the barriers quite aggressively. Touch the paint on the inside of the run through Indianapolis. Capel still trying to find some sort of time in pursuit. Marcus Watson will touch the curb, and rear end of the Mustang will go around. Poor Owen, says Revolution Racing. I disagree, he does it to himself. Dylan Shepherd's now wandering astray in the final couple chicanes, just looking for any opportunity to drive that thing around in any style of security and safety. It was dry actually through the first sector last time by. It's now chucking it down there. So again, confidence coming and going. Leaders last time by 426.4, 426.8.
Yeah.
Damon Woods had another mistake because he's now 4 seconds back from Rattray White.
So I was just going to say that, yeah, Damon's dropped back about 4.5 seconds now. So Zach's got a little bit of a comfort gap, but Scotty, I'm guessing we're going this extra 16 minutes to get to the end of the race. So, you know, we'll talk another 4 laps.
We haven't dodged the weather that I thought we might.
No,
So
in fact,
dry
it's
and
getting
miserable.
heavier. As the sun sets, the rain's coming in. Why not in this server?
This being one of the better battles on track at the moment. The only other one I'm seeing is Stuart Ellis and Isaac Curtis, although Patrick Reddon's only about a second back from Aidan Rankin. No relation to myself. So at the moment, just watching these two continue to go toe-to-toe. Both of them are challenging each other for speed, so neither of these guys can afford to let up. Because if they do, there's going to be another car coming past, and Capel is now right on the rear bumper of Sebastian Eskandari. Final spot on the podium, final 15 minutes of the race. Final eighth of the distance. We've completed 7/8 of the race. We are into the final journey now. If you split it by 5-minute segments, there are 3 that remain.
So, Scotty, I just had a thought. This is where, you know, this is the race tonight, where if iRacing in that last patch this week gave us something new, they've given us a random engine blow up that will drop a wheel on the track somewhere randomly in the
Please no.
Nobody's read about it, but I'm just thinking, well, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen tonight. So.
Is it Indianapolis, perchance? That might explain a lot more of what we're experiencing down that end of things. They've been through the trials, they've been through the tribulations, and the final journey of this one, as the circuit has dried marginally, it will get better at sections. It might be reasonable to drive compared to what it's been at some points tonight. And this time, Lachlan Capel will go for an adventure at Indianapolis. What are we up to, 22?
22.
Kept it out of the fence, but he's going to have teammate Sam Sutton start to crawl in on him at this point in time. And skate on through. There she goes. But kept it out of the fence, and that's the big one.
Well, at 22, that's good company, right? At least he's not alone.
Well, we were talking, there was 31 cars in the field left on the lead lap. First safety car, was it? Second safety car?
Yeah.
22 cars have gone in Indianapolis. Oh, no. Zola. This is the last car in the lead lap, but I expect our leaders will be crawling into this shot in just a few moments. Yeah, there is Zach Rattray White in the background. So that is just barely on the lead lap for Jordan Pinazzola. But again, for everyone that's challenging. That is the margin to the race leader. The trouble in this weather is the race leader just did a 4:28.5. Damon Woods, however, just did a 4:26.3 and set the new fastest lap of the race. So remember how I said I thought the conditions might be improving fractionally? They are. But you've just got to be able to find the grip. And marginally. Better at some ends of the track, worse at others.
Did you just say there was grip on this racetrack?
Somewhere. Absolutely.
How dare you?
Look. Neither of us are finding it. I'll put it that way.
I tell you what, there'll be a grip on Ricky's neck if this server gets repeated anytime soon.
Can we have it next time out, please? I actually, no, you know what? I've enjoyed this. The only difference is I actually like to be out there because I like.
Oh,
this
there's another
sort of
car
stuff.
off just at the pit end.
Someone's just got around the background, Pete. You said?
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Hayden Rankin's just
boy.
off. Yep.
Isaac Curtis just about throws it all away. Patrick Redden's going to come to pit lane. That'll probably be his spot. There's probably actually another stop left to come tonight, though. Patrick
Well, if they
Redden's
go all
gonna
the
make
way,
it.
absolutely. Yep.
So they're about at the end of their fuel tank for everyone since the last safety car. The problem being there's just about not enough cars left on the racetrack, and another one's gone around. It's Aiden Rankin again.
Other way. Don't go too far that way.
The good news is there's no cars coming. It's difficult. Struggle Street. There's only a couple of cars that haven't been round tonight. An intra-team battle for 4th place on track between the Logitech G Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports cars. Make sure you're very careful how you say it. It's ODBM. Don't say stable afterwards. That will annoy several individuals from the team to no end.
I do like the paint. I think the paint stands out really well.
You wait until you see the shirts. I've been shown images of the shirts that are on their way and how that shapes up. It is very, very gorgeous. Very difficult to pull off too. But I cannot wait to get my hands on several of those. They will be my most worn clothing. Without a doubt. Cable gets the job done on teammate Sam Sutton.
Having seen you at Bathurst, Scotty, I'm just pleased you're going to be taking more clothing this time. And the rain's coming back down again. It's getting heavier.
Yeah, very heavy at this end of the racetrack yet again. If you take your eyes off it for 2 moments, it's pelting down again. Eskandari breathes a sigh of relief as all of a sudden there's not as much challenge as there was a few moments ago. For 10 minutes, he just has to lose less than 10 seconds across the next 10 minutes. A second a minute is the requirement for somebody to run down Eskandari. Pit stop to come for a bunch of these guys. Patrick Redden having done his last already. This is Stuart Ellis and Isaac Curtis continuing their battle, and Curtis will tag the white line on entry to the Mulsanne chicane. Mulsanne corner, my apologies. I don't know that there's much else to talk about at the moment. Just everyone in this commentary box is fried from how quick, how heavy, how aggressive it's been. Is that David Woods starting to make time back towards Rattray White yet again?
Yep. Down to 3 seconds. Alrighty, so we've still got Isaac Curtis is having a ding-dong battle with Stu Ellis. That was fabulous. It's just watching them going down the back straight, going 23, 23, 23. But they both made it. Good on them, and continue to fight for another lap.
Righto, final pit stops of the night. Rattray White is in from Damon Woods. They will get in, service their cars. It is a very quick fuel stop for Rattray. No, that is, I was about to say, was that Damon Woods jumping him in the stop? If it was, I would have said that that would have been perhaps an underfuel or mistake or tyres or so. I got caught out by the liveries there for half a moment. They'll maintain the margin out the other side.
Yep. Fuel only, no tyres, Scotty. You'd be mad to take tyres, wouldn't you? I think it's only one lap, 2 laps. 2 laps that they're going to have to do at 7 minutes 23. So yeah, you won't get a third in. So yeah, it's only about what we're using in fuel. 20 litres. No.
Yeah, probably less than 20 litres to be perfectly honest with you. About 18 19, or so. Yeah. Lachlan Capel's gone on another lap by the look of that, compared to everyone around him.
Yeah.
Which means
this is that's his 9th lap, so he's been able to save some along the way, but he's still going to have to pit because they're going to have 2 more laps to go for sure. So maybe Lockie's been driving to save fuel that whole time. Because you can, when it's raining, you can be on that, right on that limit.
But you can just float the car. You can lift a little bit early and float the car into the corners a little bit more, and it takes that strain off the braking and the pressure off the braking zone. It just means that you have to build out the other side. You've got to remember, with those tread blocks moving around underneath the car, it's not as quick in a straight line as well. But the puddles definitely do subtract from the straight line speed, but also there is more tyre there and tyre that's moving around, which takes physical force is going into moving those tread blocks around rather than pushing the car forward. Marino Morellis, Stuart Ellis, and one more car in a tight battle there will be Brian Pearce as these 3 cars come together. Stuart Ellis made his final stop a couple of laps ago, so I think he is now good at the end of the race, and that says to me all 3 cars in this little battle will indeed be fighting for track position to the end. 7, 8 and 9 on the total at the moment.
And that visibility for the cars being in the spray hasn't come down any at all. The cars have opened up a little bit of a gap, sort of spread themselves out around the circuit, Scotty, but you don't want to be close to another car, do you?
No, and it's looking for still any visibility you possibly can. The final 10 minutes of this race, we'll get one more bend at that yellow intensity rain, which is higher than the green intensity. When it lessens off back to green here, which it will in the next couple of minutes, that will be, it will be green and lighter to the end of the race. So it will get better, but there's not enough time for it to massively improve. To the tail end of this session, and Byron Pearce nearly imprinted an Aston Martin logo on the rear end of the Mercedes ahead of him. He was trying to let Stuart Ellis know that, mate, the best of the V8 marks is actually the Aston Martin, mate, and not the 3 arrows, the silver arrows on board your car. You might want to invest in a change when you get the opportunity. I do like the Aston, always have. Very popular car amongst its fans as well. Dylan Shepherd's getting spots, by the way, will need to come to the pits at the end of this lap. He's at the end of his 8th lap of fuel as well. Another driver to do so. This little challenge. Look at the spray. And there is painted surfaces either side of the racetrack in that location. We've already seen it multiple times tonight. Drivers on straight spinning, and that's because of the rain on the paint. Where do you look? You can't see where you're trying to place the car. You know what you're trying to do with the car is go out and around the line.
Okay, keep an eye on the lead battle, boys. We're down to 1 second or 1.5 seconds between Zach and Damon Woods. This thing ain't over yet.
Damon had a 7/10 shorter stop. He had less fuel out. Is there something in that? That's Shepard finally admitting defeat, as is Capel in final stop of the night. This will be the last lap of the race too. So we're looking for a white flag to be waving from the flag stand, but I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either.
In range of what, 4.5 minutes, less than 4.5 minutes to the end of this race.
Yeah.
And it should have been out there. So, we expect this will be the last lap of the race. We expect. Don't hold your horses. And if this does go an extra lap, I don't know that there's anyone who's taken enough fuel to cover off the bug. So I reckon the entire field might file by and be out of fuel.
Well, why not? Everything else has happened tonight, Scotty. This is just an absolute entertainment, to be honest.
Well, absurdly oddity.
There are 20 cars still out there running, and like my hat goes off to everybody out there still running. And even half the guys that have DNF'd, it hasn't been because of anything they've done. They've just come across a car that was in the middle of the circuit and crashed their car beyond repair. So, hats off to everybody getting involved in the race and sticking it out as much as they can. Awesome. But it's not over. Damon Wood's down to 1.1 seconds. So there is something in this. You have to think though, Scotty. You have to think that it's the end of the race. You're going over the start-finish line, right?
You would think so, and everyone will be fueled for that marker as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just sitting here and just taking stock. The fact that there wasn't a white flag waving. Now, I'll put something in the back of your mind, Pete, because I think it is relevant. What if Damon Woods just drives in the pit lane on this last lap? If he's aware, Rattray White can only lose, he's got to cross the line because he's too close behind him. But for Damon Woods, he's got a 30-second marker. He can drive into the pit lane, grab a splash of fuel and go again. If that white flag gets displayed this lap, they will know in the sim whether or not they have a white flag. It could be a replay bug, it could be a spectator bug, we may not know for certain. They will know as we get down to 15 seconds left in the race.
Okay, I'd have to go and check the rules because I don't think you can finish the last lap in the pit lane.
Why not?
Because at tracks like Silverstone and things like that, there's rules in some of our rules that prevent people from going into pit lanes as their last lap for a finish position because the difference in time to get to the start-finish line. So that's potentially a risk that could be a technicality. I don't know. I'd have to look at the rules to see whether it is now.
This wouldn't be one of those tracks whereby there'd be a game.
Yeah, but the rule, what I'm saying is that the rule is just a flat rule across everything.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can do it.
Oh, Kurt Chapman, hard in the barrier day might be finally done. And indeed, he will tow back to pit lane. So he has now cleared the scene. He will not be sitting that Porsche there. Damon Woods is getting closer. And I again pose the question, have we seen a white flag from this one? A question mark remains. For now, both of them are going to stay out. They're going to form into the 1-2 lining, and Damon Woods took it to him through the final chicane. I wait for a flag from the stand. I don't see one, but the checkered flag seems to have been shown in session. Either way, Rattray White is showing, and it's going to be Rattray White from Woods from Eskandari. Pinozzi was the next car across the line, of course, off the lead lap. Eskandari is just coming up to the chicanes now. Something's happened to Lachlan Capel.
Yeah, he's dropped out somewhere. Oh yeah, no, he did. He had that follow-up pit stop, Scotty. He had to come in and get some fuel, remember?
But before he pit, he was with Sam Sutton. And Sam Sutton made a pit stop. He's lost time somewhere. And a massive amount of time. There is going to be a massive battle at the end. Sam Sutton's going to get home just ahead of this little group. It's going to be Marino Morella ahead of Stuart Ellis, ahead of Byron Pierce. as they crawl their way out of the last corner. And everyone will be walking over, getting out of the car, going to the pit lane and just tipping up their race suit, their race boots. Because I guarantee you the pedal boxes in these things have got water in them. With the volume that has dumped itself on Circuit de la Sarthe here on your Sunday night.
Scotty, what a result for Marino Morello. I recall he was spinning like 3 times during this race, being down the bottom, and he's come out 5th. That's unbelievable. Ryan going to make it?
Yes, he will. Job done. And for everyone that made the end of that one, they deserve a pat on the back. It's Riordan's just about lost it the last time of asking. I think there's only a couple more cars left to come. And I think everyone is happy that that one is now over. Jet Saragi got back out there with a very, very bent car to finish in 16th spot. On the lead lap? No, sorry, my apologies. Yes, he is actually on the lead lap.
Yeah.
He did get back out there, and he's just circulating. There is no rear structure on that Lamborghini. Aiden Rankin will come to the line. We now just wait on, I believe, Trent Stapleton, Jet Saragi, and Benjamin Wilder and Corey Bennett. So just waiting for the last couple of cars to come across the finish. That was tough. That was actually tough. Very, very tough.
All right, Scotty. Well, we got the podium. Do you want to start having a chat with them?
Yeah, let's get him in. Let's get him out of here because it's been a long, long day.
Where are we starting? P3 or P1, mate?
Yeah, we'll start from the bottom end and work our way up. I'll chat to the youngster from the Team Max Boost stable on board of the Porsche. Mate, that thing fired off with a whole bunch of, was it temperature, was it tyre, and then you cooked them and it went off, or is it just the Astons were just no good on that tyre warm-up there? Because that thing was rapid every time we got ourselves a safety car restart.
It was just tyre preparation. I felt like I did a pretty good job at it. I noticed that the Astons weren't really warming the tyres up much, so I thought maybe it was burning them a little bit. But I mean, it worked every time on the first lap, and especially on the start, being able to move up to second. So yeah, that was a pretty good phase of the race, and I don't think I quite had the outright pace of Damon and Zach. They were just a lot faster than I was, but I sort of held my own and came home for third.
Mate, challenging conditions, I think the biggest thing and the biggest issue all night long was it would swing grippy. Well, I say grippy in air quotes because it was as grippy as it's going to get, and then the conditions would be torrid the next time. At one point in time, it went heavy rain, no rain, heavy rain at the head of the Mulsanne all through that first sort of sector area. So every single lap you come through, the conditions were swinging wildly. Was it conversation? Was it warning? Was it preparation about what you're about to expect from teammates that are in that area of the circuit, or was it just hope and pray?
I mean, all of my teammates were all sort of towards the front end of the race, but every time we got to that every single corner, you find one thing on one lap, you try it the next lap, and you're spinning off a track in a different direction into the wall. So it was just about taking every lap cautious, and I think that's what Damon and Zach, they were being cautious, but then they were able to go a lot harder than I was. They're at the 99%, I was at the 97, 98%. So I just didn't quite have that pace to get there and didn't quite adapt to the conditions as well as them, but still a good race nonetheless.
Mate, congratulations on bringing it home in P3, and although that screen right there on the timing show us a dry Le Mans, it certainly was not. Who would you like to give a thank you and a shout out to before we let you go?
All the guys back at Team Max Boost, and then ePaint's our major sponsor for the liveries that we get. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sebastian Eskandari out of P3 for Team Max Boost here tonight. I'm going to take one step further forward in terms of the podium. We'll have a chat to tonight's second place finisher, Damon Woods in the Aston Martin, and Pete Baxter on standby.
Absolutely, Damon. What a race, hey? Out there, you're mixing it up with everybody tonight, and in unfavourable conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I drove like an absolute wobble for part of that race. I found myself in the barrier at Mulsanne, and around off the curb a couple of times as well. So not my finest performance in terms of consistency and keeping on the track, but the pace was really strong. I think that saved my race, to be honest.
Yeah, good on you. You had a couple of safety cars, and how did you feel when young Sebastian got you at each of the safety cars?
Well, that Porsche turned its tyres on like all sorts. We kind of figured it out after the first safety car, which is why we went which is why we went early to try and break him a little bit. But yeah, it just turned its tyres on like crazy, and wasn't much we could do about it. But once it got past, I knew I could drop and drive away and try and catch Zach.
Yeah, and Zach seemed to get a bit of a break on you for about sort of 5 seconds there at one stage. You did end up getting him back just before the end of the race. Was that just an error, or you just think he had some extra speed?
I dropped it going through the Ford chicane. I grabbed a bit of the puddle as I fell off the curb and lit her up, and around she went. So luckily I was able to 360 it and keep her going, but yeah, not an ideal 5 seconds to lose, but I had the eyes locked on after that and started putting in some good times, and we were able to get to his bumper, but yeah, unfortunately not enough time to get the win.
Oh, good on you, mate. You've put on a really good show for us again. You and Zach are putting on an awesome show for us in PL, and it was an absolute pleasure to see you guys drive in the wet tonight. Who do you want to thank?
Big thanks to obviously the Eclipse boys for all their support as well, and then also Motorsport Simworld for hopping on board. If anyone's looking for a cheeky little getaway, have some fun, head down to Motorsport Simworld in Melbourne. So big thanks to those guys, and also everyone from the PL crew and you guys in the broadcast.
Good on you, Damon. Congratulations on P2 tonight, mate. You're going to hold that championship lead going into the last round.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. Cheers, boys.
All right, cheers, mate.
Finally, an opportunity to grab a great friend and teammate of his, Zach Retro White. Car 17 gets it done. Mate, as it turns out, all you needed for a little bit of luck was some drips and drops, except for in this case, it was less drips and drops and, well, a hell of a lot more monsoon.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I usually go terrible on the wet, so, yeah, a little change of pace. I'm a little chuffed with it.
Mate, challenging conditions at the biggest thing we kept talking about up here in the box, and I get the opportunity, you'll get the opportunity to watch it back at some point in time, but it was basically all night a tale of two ends of the racetrack, because at one end it was pelting down, at the other end it was dry, and that swung around all night long. Reading the conditions at all points in time was difficult. I get the feeling in that last sort of 10 or 15 minutes there when Damon dropped a mile and a half back off you, I've got to push, but I just need to keep the thing going.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like one lap, it would bucket down when you're on the other side of the track, and you get to it, and it would just be a mirror, and it might have grip or it might not. You just got to try and, I don't even know, like just wing it and see if it sticks. And I mean, our car was really good thanks to Damon and Marino. They did all the hard. Heavy lifting with the setup of the car, so it was just glued once the tires got up to temp, and like, yeah, you could drive it pretty hard regardless of how wet it was, but when it did get very heavy, it was rough, like very rough.
Mate, in terms of things, obviously 4 out of the 5 rounds now ticked off for this championship here. Last time for the championship, we'll be heading off to Spa-Francorchamps. Would you like a rainy day at Spa, or would you like just some nice, fine, sunny weather?
Spa is Spa. I'm a little sick of it. We've been doing so many league races there at the moment. But I don't know. I've had 2 races that are dry, and then 1 race that's been wet recently. So it's not like we haven't driven there and have laps under our belt. So I think regardless, we're going to have a good package, and yeah, we'll come out swinging.
Finally, mate, what gets it done for car number 17 and Eclipse Sim Sports, mate? And then I actually have one more fun question for you. It'll be about your teammates, though. So get the sponsors out of here and say the niceties before I let you throw them under the bus.
Yeah, great. Like I said, Marino and Damon carried hardcore with the setup. Like, they even gave us options whether we could run a dry set or a wet set or an intermediate set. So, yeah, it kind of shows the level that they can put out setups that are going to be good in pretty much any condition. So, props to them. All the sponsors, Core Temp, especially keeping us cool in these long races. They yeah, much appreciated.
Mate, finally, the last question I have for you. There's a NASCAR series getting underway, and I know a bunch of your teammates are prepped up. Who is best at turning right on the team, and who's much better at turning left than right?
Well, look, I can tell you this for sure. Is Cody Deeth is good at none of them. Yeah, look, I'll have to watch that and see who comes out on top. But look, I can tell you right now that Cody is not going to be quick.
Mate, thank you kindly. I will make sure I put him in the fence as quickly as I possibly can as payback for you. There you go.
Thanks, mate. Doing us all a favour.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach Rattray White throwing his teammates under the bus. Thank you very much for your time, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Always love an opportunity to throw a little bit of a wobble out there from the side of things. Pete, that was challenging. There's no other words for it. Just the level of difficulty of that. Every driver, even Zach Rattray White had a spin on a restart down into turn one. Every driver in the field had an off circuit tonight. That is how tricky that was.
Mate, the classiest drivers in Australian GT3 sim racing, and they're all
some of them
having
the world.
So had hands off to everybody for getting in there. Those that finished, awesome. Loving the fact that Zach got a win over Damon for the series. I think it's really good for the series. It tightens up the championship a little bit going into Spa, the last round. There is a drop round, so that might impact it. But yeah, so just for Zach to get one back there, I think is really good. It's going to create just that little bit of excitement to see how we go into Spa. And then a couple of random really good results because of people that just could tonight. So awesome.
Mate, I challenge you to go out and try and challenge those conditions. Have a look at race control. Got more laps in than Lockhart Brownlee. Brian, that safety car got a few laps in. A big shout out to Scott Bartain who got behind the wheel of that one tonight. That is probably the most challenged he has ever been behind the wheel of a safety car. There is one final journey left to make. And it will be for the Open Series on Sunday, the 5th of July, from the circuit to Spa-Francorchamps. You thought this track was long. It is. It is one of the longer ones. Unfortunately, Spa is still long where it all matters. 7 kilometres worth of length on Sunday, the 5th of July, from 7:55 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. The Motorsport Simworld GT3 Open Championship will conclude. Will the heavens open once more? Will Eau Rouge, will Radeon claim any, like Indianapolis have? Pete, final count, 22?
22, mate. Yep.
22 off at Indianapolis at the end of tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you on behalf of the admins, on behalf of Dan Yeaman. Thank you very much, Dan. You've had a very, very long day behind the steering wheel of the broadcast tonight. So a big shout out to Dan for jumping in and covering for us tonight. For Pete and myself here in the commentary team, to the stewards, the admins, our race controllers, and everyone that gets it done here from Premier Endurance League. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Wet and Wonderful from the circuit du 24 Hours de Mans.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.